Listen, oh gosh, well, what a pleasure to have you back on, Cherrie, the Swedish-Somali R&B superstar now. How are you doing, sweetheart? It's been a long time.
I know it's been a while. I'm good, thank you. How you been?
I'm good, as good as can be, considering like the circumstances we've all been in for the past year.
Yeah,
And I mean, a lot of people are wanting to chat to you. You're in demand as well, so you've been building up that superstar status even more, sweetheart.
thank you. Just been working, as much as I can through these weird times, or yeah,
Yeah, you do.
basically.
You've been definitely putting in a lot of work, which we're going to go into in a little while. But just to catch up, like I mean, we caught you back in 2018. We was at the Red Bull Studios with my host Callum at the time, who unfortunately can't be here today, but he sends his best wishes to you.
I tell him I said hi. He was so much fun the last time, and
Yeah.
little video where he made me sing in Swedish.
Well,
That's
well, no pressure on me now because now the tables have turned. I was filming last time. Now I'm the one that's actually talking to you.
yeah, no, you're gonna do great, but
Well,
hopefully you're not gonna make me sing again.
we could. Well, we're definitely going to have some fun later on for sure. Definitely.
All right.
Well, I mean, with our interviews that we did last time, you just talked about the segments we did. You singing in Swedish, and the interview we did. It's one of our highest viewed videos on the entire channel. So I have to thank you and your fans for that. So
So thank you. Oh my God, it became so popular here as well because I don't know, someone had like a soundbite of me singing that thing that he made me sing, and everyone was like, "Oh, are you gonna release a remix of Usher's song?" I was
Oh
like,
wow!
"No."
So that have people actually, caught up with you and asked you to do certain things based on the videos that we have done?
Yeah, yeah, of
Wow!
course. I think someone used it like as a soundbite for TikTok or something, and they
Wow!
were like, you should make it like a remix, a Swedish version. And I was like, we'll see,
Have
maybe
you
in the future.
have you considered it as a thing, maybe? Or I mean, because obviously you're working on your own material, but based on the
Yeah.
responses, like, have you considered that maybe?
I mean, you never know, you know.
Well,
I'm just really easy.
you never know what the future brings. So, but no, I have to thank you for for and your fans for the amount of views that we receive for the videos. So thank you so much for that. We really do
No,
appreciate it. I know like Eid just happened recently. So how was that for you? I mean, how did you celebrate?
I was actually with family. Just, it's been hard because you can't really do the things that we used to, like go pray in the mosque in the morning and stuff. But I was with my family. And my sister did like a small brunch for all the siblings, and then the parents came later. It was really nice, but kind of calm as well. I've been working so much, so I'm
Mm.
just like whenever I can get time to just chill with my friends and family, you kind of have to.
Yeah, and you appreciate it much more considering like the times that we're in as well. So when you do get time with that, it's more taken in as like wow. It's more humbling to you to say like I'm with my family. Like where we're always in rat races and going to this festival, this gig, this red carpet, but this is the only time
Exactly.
we've been able to slow down from everything.
Definitely. And you kind of like, you can't really help it because I was working so much and I was just like flying all over the place and everything. So I'm kind of happy. Well, not like the fact that we're going through a pandemic, but the fact that I had to slow down.
Hmm.
Just like, it gives you a lot more time to reflect and just like recharge. So,
I was going to ask you actually, because I mean, how have things been for you for the past year in general? I mean, obviously you've been active in making music. Beforehand, you were killing it with like festivals, gigs, red carpets, touring. But now it seems like with everything with the pandemic, it's slowed down for everything. So, I mean, how has mentally everything been for you for the past year?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, in the beginning, like it was kind of hard just like adjusting and more so not knowing what was gonna happen. And of course, like the one thing I really miss that I haven't got to do is tour. Like
Mm,
I for so much, especially like 2019, I did like 3 tours in one year.
wow.
So I was just like around and just working so much. So, but every sometimes there's a blessing in disguise. So
Mm,
after like first couple of months of shock and like uncertainty, I just started making music again. I was actually supposed to, well, I wasn't supposed to release this album now because I really wanted to do a project in English. That was
I
my
was going to
next goal.
ask you about that because we've been
Yeah,
waiting for. I mean, because obviously you've teased us little bits where you've done music in part English and part Swedish and
yeah.
Somali, but are we going to get like a full English track? Are we going to get a full English like album? Like, what are we looking at?
It's definitely a like a huge goal of mine. And I was supposed to, that was the goal or the plan for 2020 and 2021. But the thing is, I felt like I do not want to release a project in English now and not be able to like tour and see my fans around the world. So I just kind of put it
On the back
on the
burner.
side. Yeah, exactly, for a while. And just the time being, I'm gonna release this last album in Swedish, and then hopefully I can get back to the regular
Regular
schedule.
scheduled programming, yeah, for sure. So you're just waiting for the right time to do it. So it sounds like you want to really fully establish your position as being a Swedish Somali singer before tapping into the full English market, which I know you have tapped into a little bit, which we'll get into later on.
Yeah, I
But it
did one
sounds like,
that.
yeah, but you're just dabbling in little bits at the moment. Um,
Yeah,
and since we spoke to you last as well, when Callum spoke to you, he mentioned about Sweden being the safest country in the world at the time. And,
yeah.
he was mentioned that when you were exposed to different things like, serious issues and gun crime and things like that. Now, considering obviously we're in a pandemic now, is that
Yeah.
still something you see in Sweden, especially during these pandemic times, or has that balanced out? Like, what's the situation right now?
I mean, you know what it is? It's just like there's definitely some type of segregation because there's some areas, like the area that I grew up in, the ends, it's still tough out there. There's still like a lot of gun violence, the crime rate is going up and down and whatnot. But like overall, if you compare it to other countries, obviously it's not as bad. Like it could be a lot worse. So I'm still hopeful that things will get better. And I don't know, maybe when this pandemic is over, I feel like hopefully people are gonna be a lot more kinder to each other and kind of just like, just grateful that
Mm,
we got through this. And I feel like there's gonna be a lot of like good years coming,
mm,
hopefully when this is over. But it's just like all you can do is really like just stay hopeful and try to do your best.
mm,
So like in my music, I wouldn't say I'm like political,
mm.
but I've definitely done like socially aware music in Swedish, where I talk about like just the stuff that's going around in these areas, or being a woman, a black woman in
Mm,
like a white country, and what it means and the struggle that entails. And I'm always gonna do music that I feel like speaks for the people.
mm.
Um, and with this new album, there's definitely socially conscious music on there as well. But there's bangers and
Oh
love
yeah.
songs.
Oh yeah. We're definitely going to touch on that later on for sure because I mean, boy, you can't do no wrong. Honestly, you cannot do no wrong with the music you've been putting out as of late, especially like from when we first met you. You've just been
Yeah.
consistent throughout. So we're going to get into some of that later. And just to touch on as well, because obviously, you say that you want to, bring some of these issues to the forefront in your music, doing it in Swedish. And of course, like with everything happening with last year, like with Black Lives Matter protests, and obviously now with everything going on in Palestine, like how for you does that put into perspective when you're creating music, when you're being exposed to these things?
Mm. I mean, it's just like, I'm probably like one of the artists that are most known in Sweden. Like for the people that actually understand what I sing about, they know that I've been very vocal, not just in the music, but just how I use my voice, and you know that I usually like talk about certain stuff when there's like injustice going on in the world. So and just being a black woman that's like a third or second generation immigrant, and living in Europe and probably like the widest part of the world, it's just like when you come from those type of groups, you kind of, it just it's kind of organic. It's just like it's the norm to be the voice of the people, I feel like,
Mm.
because you know how it feels to be marginalized, right? So
So you feel like it's like a domino effect where, all the experiences you've had as you were younger and then getting into music, that's now had a play on effect as far as what you're seeing more and being an artist, and you feel like a sense of responsibility to, obviously
definitely.
bring out the bangers, but also like, bring out music that's true to you and what you're
Yeah,
experiencing, right?
definitely, definitely. It's always been like my probably like one of my strengths as well. Like, and it's always like when I've won awards or when people come at me, that those are the things that they always mention. And I'm just like, it's nothing that I shy away from.
Mm.
I see it as an honor, honestly, because one thing I can really say it's in beyond even that, I've always just been truthful and genuine in everything I do. So when people like call me a role model and stuff, it's just like them saying they appreciate me for being me. So,
Mm.
it's a compliment and an honor. So,
Yeah. And speaking of honors, like that beautifully brings me on to my next point, because since we spoke to you last, just to fill in the gap since 2018, like you've been doing a lot, like, festivals, shows, music. I mean, even getting nominated and winning awards at the Swedish Grammys. So, firstly, congratulations on all those nominations and wins that you've had. I mean, just to bring it into perspective, like you were nominated for New Artist in 2016, Best Album 2017, Best Artist in Pop for Arawilo in 2019,
yeah,
winner for Best Hip Hop for Cherrie, and this year you're nominated once again for Best Soul and R&B of the Year. Like, how does it feel bringing it all into context? Like, I know you just briefly explained about how you feel with awards winning, but how does it feel like in a short space of time? I mean, doing music for 7 years, and all of a
yeah.
sudden you are recognized on this scale.
You know what it is? Honestly, like even like more so than the awards and everything, I'm just shocked that like it's been 7 years and I'm still as active and people are still tuning in and wanting to listen and just waiting for me to release music. And that is such a privilege. Like I'm so happy because to like nowadays, information comes so quick. You
Mm-hmm.
see artists coming and leaving and everything is just so quick. So for me to just be able to reinvent myself and still stick around and release music, and the fact that I still have fans that want to listen, like, in a way, 7 years is a short time, but it's kind of
Mm.
long as well because there's a lot of, especially the fans that were there since the beginning. It's almost like we grew up together. And, I'm turning 30 this year. So,
Oh my God! Well, I would never have thought.
yeah.
I would never have thought. I would have thought you'd be still in your early 20s, sweetheart. Like that's how I honestly felt when I first met you. I thought you was so young, and
Wow.
then now you're saying that to me. I'm thinking like,
Yeah, yeah.
really?
Yeah, I started out when I was 23.
Right.
And then, like I'm turning 33, 30, sorry, not 33, but 30 old this year. And the crazy thing is like this is my third album, but my
Wow.
fourth project because I
Yeah.
released a mixtape in between there as well. And I'm just like so happy to still be here and be able to do this and live off of this.
Hmm.
And it changed my life, it changed my family life. Like I'm able to do stuff that I never thought I would be able to do. I've seen the world through my music and I'm just excited and happy and more so just knowing that you've achieved some of the goals that you were setting out to do.
And I guess it seems like obviously now we're in the pandemic, and obviously hopefully when this all ends, that when you get back to regularly scheduled programming, that you take this time of thinking like, wow, this is a new perspective that I can really take this forward, as well as appreciate all the accolades that you've achieved so far. So that would be another reinvention of yourself, I would guess.
Yeah, definitely. It's just like with everything that's been going on, the good thing about it is I've been able to just like slow down and reflect on what's important to me, what I want to do, what I want to talk about, what I feel like is missing in
Yeah.
the scene. And not just sonically, but more so who's saying something important and what
Mm.
does people need to hear right now. And just like coming into terms with like I'm starting to feel like that the woman that I always wanted to become.
Mm.
And being like, it's like you've worked so hard for so long that sometimes you just don't even think about the fact that, but like you've achieved some stuff now.
Yeah, because you
You're
think of the
allowed to
here and
be
now, like
happy.
you're in this position, like
Exactly.
you're constantly doing stuff and you don't have really time to really
Exactly.
digest it all.
Exactly. So now, like, when everything slowed down, it just kind of hit me like I've achieved so much that I really set out to do and even more. And most, like, out of everything, just being able to create that security for me and my family
Mm,
and, like breaking generational curses
mm,
is such a huge thing just for me. And then above that, when I think about like not just me, just being able to inspire so many young girls, not having that representation that you can see yourself in. I know what that kind of does to you, especially when you're like a third generation immigrant living in a country that's not yours and having family that, came here from wars and stuff. And that there's a lot of pressure and a lot of confusion in just like where you're gonna go in life and who you are. And
mm,
just being that kind of someone that people can look up to and maybe see some of themselves in,
mm.
it's an amazing thing, and
So
it's not something
beautiful.
I take lightly.
It's so beautiful. Like all those words, it just make me feel so warm in my heart. Like, you know what I mean? This, you get me all fuzzy inside. I love this, man. I can feel like I can go away from this and think like, oh, it's so good. So good out of this. I mean, when we spoke to you last as well, you talked to us about your beginnings, especially the fact that with UK artists in particular, like you had Lethal B support you and Stormzy support you in particular, and him being featured on one of your tracks, which you talked last time. But if we're talking about now, though, you recently featured with Nines with Crab in a Bucket, which is your first number one with the song Stalker interlude. I mean, amazing. I mean, how did that connection happen in the first place?
The funny thing is like a lot of the connections with like some of the international artists that I've worked with, they've all happened really organically, right?
Yeah.
So I actually met Nines through my cousin's husband. So it was more so
Wow.
like a family thing, right? So
Right.
even though I was in London and like I see him like my cousin's husband, he's like my brother as well, right? So when I met them, it was like I was taken care of, so like they were so respectful and such like good manners. Even like Nines, such a like a nice person really,
Mm.
and they really made me feel comfortable. And even like like you kind of see how genuine people are. Imagine you being a superstar and you're taking the time out to just
Yeah.
contact me and say thank you for the vocals. Yeah, just being, staying on top of everything and making sure that I'm good. It was just an amazing experience, even being with him in the studio. Like the guy writes so quick and he's like such an amazing artist. And I was just happy to be like a small part of his the success he's going through right now. It's
So
amazing.
when it came to the actual meetup, because obviously you said like within family, that's how you met. Was it on the streets? Was it at a restaurant? Like like when you actually met Nines, like what was the first set of conversations?
So the crazy thing is, so my cousin told me that basically he had known about me for a couple years and that he was a huge fan of my music, which was actually shocking to me. Like I know that there's some artists in the UK that know who I am and listen to my music and whatnot, but I still get shocked. It's like
Hmm.
you, superstar, you're
You know
taking
me? Like really?
it's just weird, right? So I heard that he loved my music and that he really wanted to work with me, and I was like, I'm down. Just let me know.
Hmm.
So we had some contact over email for a while and send each other like beats and stuff. But then I told my cousin like, oh, I'm coming down to London. I'm gonna be there for a week. Ask them if we can set this session up. So it was like we met in the studio that day
Right.
when this was set up, and he was just a gentleman through the whole thing, just very made me feel comfortable. I wrote my hook verse, whatever you want to call it, and put it down, and he was like, yeah, it's amazing, I'm gonna write. He wrote like his thing. It was very easy going and
Yeah.
just it felt natural. And it's just like even afterwards, like, when you've made a song with someone, sometimes you don't have the time to stay on top of things, and you just send your manager maybe to do the last
Again,
finishing.
just like trying to digest it all, but you just have to go now, 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 now.
Exactly, but he always like he was like, yeah, are you good? Yeah, make sure you have, even now, like the fact that they even took out the time to send me the thing where it says number one, and
Yeah. Wow,
the
because I saw that photo of you when you had it, and I mean, it just looked like you were
so
just in awe of it. Like it's just like, just this monument
crazy,
of working with a UK artist, and it becomes
so
a number
crazy.
one. I mean, how did you
So
feel?
I was so like, first of all, I was just like, so it just proved like, the fact that they were even thinking about me, like little me, to send me that, and it's just crazy. Like amongst like I've had like Swedish awards right at home, but
Mm.
to be able to put that one amongst them, they're like from the UK chart. This is just
Yeah, because
crazy.
you're thinking, yeah, okay, from my own country, that's one thing.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's beautiful in
yeah.
that sense. I'm representing from my country, but from another country, and then I got that on my wall. What?
UK. It's just crazy. So I look at it like it's in my bedroom right now, amongst other words, and I just look at it sometimes. I'm like,
Yeah, you must look at it and think like damn, like I've done all this, like how. But I mean, I know that you've always been a humble person amongst your work ethic, and you never like to no matter what sort of level you reach, you always become that humble person where like you never let the celebrity and the fame get to you. So how do you manage to like keep like level headed and down to earth throughout everything, like with all the accolades that you've received?
I don't honestly say like the one thing that meant that, like, I would say, because I still hang out with the same girls, the same friends that I grew up with, and they have nothing to do with the whole scene or music or, fame, all that. They don't care about that. Most of them are like single mothers now, and just like maybe having a 9 to 5, or being like a entrepreneur or something. So just hanging out with them and making sure like the people closest to me are people that are there for me, and that love me genuinely, and these are the people that I get inspired by. I when I have free time, those are the people that I want to spend my time with,
Mm.
because they make me stay, like they make me check myself and just keep my like.
Yeah, so if you go up high, it's their friends are like, no, 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 get your ass back down. Mm-mm, 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 mm-mm.
Exactly, and you need that,
Yeah,
like you
for sure.
naysayers around you, and just be like, because you lose yourself. And that's why I'm very lucky to have people around me that are real
Mm,
and genuine, and that have been there for me even before all of this came.
mm.
And really, like, I would say it's easy to lose your way when fame comes, and you have financial security and everything, but with just having like genuine people around me, that keeps me in check. And
Mm.
and that's what I need to be able to keep staying humble and do what I do in the best way possible. And then even like just having those real conversations with them makes me realize what I need to sing about, what I need to stand for, and just getting those real advice as
And yeah,
well.
and you're representing for those people, like those those girls, especially black girls that that look up to you, and they see you as like this, like you said earlier about this role model figure, and that you've
Mhm.
maintained your humbleness, and that it's like, I aspire to be that, because we need more girls to realize that it's not just always about yeah, you can flash yourself on Instagram and pose, and what I mean, just let it be known like hot girl body summer, like whatever you want to call it, like all that going on, but to let them
Yeah.
know that there's a real element of life that that you should really pursue,
And
really.
and really and truly, it's about just like, for me, that's why I put so much emphasis on me being like very personal in what I do, and very genuine in everything I do, because the one of the greatest feelings is knowing that I never had to compromise over my art or
Mm.
who I am as a person to be successful. I've been 100% myself, and I've been able to make a living out of this. So like you don't have to pretend to be something you're not in order to find success. You can still just stay true to who you are in the core and be able to do whatever you want in life. And if
Preach,
anything,
preach,
you
preach
know.
it, preach it, preach it. You're really getting me in the feels today. Seriously, I love these conversations because I really feel I get gems out of this. So I really do appreciate that, man. Um, I mean, of course, like if we're talking around the hype, obviously we talked about Nines earlier, and the idea of drill music, and you tapped into that, and with the song
Yeah.
Maria. Listen,
Yeah.
listen. When I heard it, yo, I was blown away. I did not see it coming, right? Because
Yeah.
we know about from when we met you last, like you're very R&B centric, but the way you tapped into drill, but then you had your R&B spin on it,
Mm.
yeah, I was blown. I was honestly blown away, and the thing is, I'm the most blunt when it comes to it. I really enjoyed the song.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited the fact that you're saying that. And obviously because, I've had a lot of people from the UK really appreciate that track. And that
Mm,
makes me so happy because obviously it could have gone, when you do something and you
mm,
try something that's kind of I wouldn't say controversial, but it's
mm.
like, you know, people know drill as one thing.
Yeah,
And
it's
me,
like
I
that's the baby. Like, oh yeah, like, am I getting into the
exactly.
right part of like, will people accept me the right way and tapping into it?
Exactly. So that's why I really just, for me, it was a thing where I'm just gonna make something that's so good that you can't deny it. And so when I hear like people from the UK that's obviously from the country where drill is like the biggest, it makes me excited because I'm like, okay, well, it's not bad. You know what I mean?
Well, it's
Really,
definitely more than not bad, trust me. Because I mean, the thing is, as well, when I was listening to it, right? Because I sometimes like when I hear certain bits, I'm thinking like, there's some sense of nostalgia because I heard a little bit of "It's Not Right, But It's Okay" by Whitney Houston. Is
exactly.
that where is that this where the inspiration kind of came from?
Definitely, that one with Houston, and I would say the Boy Is Mine with Brandy and Monica as well. I
Okay,
was a
nice.
bit of that class. But like honestly, I heard the beat, like a friend of mine made it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna jump on this, and I'm gonna kill it, and I'm gonna put like me as I am on it, but I'm definitely gonna make it like just something that sounds different, right?
Yeah, that can appeal to all markets really as well.
Exactly, exactly. And for me, like that song, it was more so like a street single. It was just a taste of what's gonna come, right? So, but more than anything, I feel like, this is what I do. I'm a musician, I'm a writer, and like just being able to show people that I can go pop, I can go drill, I can flow, I can sing my ass off. Like there's no,
I mean,
I
here's the
don't limit
thing.
myself.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, literally every track that you've ever touched, you can't go wrong. Like, you've never done wrong. And like, the fact that you wanted to try drill. Now, there's me thinking with the drill, I thought maybe a little tiny R&B spin on it, but obviously with drill, well, what we're known for is more like kind of hard pumping and what I mean, from ends and things like that. But I never expected it the way it did, and it like again, it just blew my mind that again, you can just do no wrong. You can literally you can turn the drill and have elements of like pop and elements of R&B, and I think it just blows my mind. So I mean,
Well, I'm
congratulations
not.
for making it happen.
I'd say I'm a studio rat, and this is what I do. This is like whenever I'm free, I end up being in the studio anyway because I just love making music and I love reinventing myself. I
Mm,
love making good albums and good music, and whenever I feel inspired, like I don't put limits on myself.
mm.
Just and when it's good, it's undeniable, and that's what I've always thought. And I feel like that's also the reason why I've accumulated so much listeners outside of Sweden because they don't understand the language, but they're still with me. Even like it's been like 4 or 5 years now. I've like had more and more of a fan base outside of Sweden, and they're they're still here, they're still listening.
And they're
You
still
know,
rocking with you, man. Like, I'm certainly rocking with you. Like, you definitely have a fan on your hands for sure. So, I'm so glad we got to meet you a few years ago and to even, because I tried to get an interview with you quite some time back, like last year. And obviously,
how do you know?
yeah, timings were off, but I've been trying to, this is how invested I am in your music. Like, I really want to
Wow, that's
continue chatting with you and your
amazing.
progress. So, I mean, with Maria as well, like, I mean, you showed like you came across like a badass, like as in, like boss bitch, you know what I mean? Like, no one's there, like internal femininity, you take charge, take no shit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, even in the video, like you're driving your car and you got to like, you know, say gorgeous guy on the other side of the car, but you're like, no, 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 no. I'm gonna make sure no, I'm gonna win. I don't care.
Yes,
Like, he ain't taking me. I'm taking him. Like, trust me.
exactly.
So I mean, obviously for you, like those elements, like being female empowering, not giving a shit, going for what you want. Are those things like that represent you not just in the industry, but just in life in general? Do you take all those elements in as part of your life?
Definitely, definitely. Like anyone that knows me knows, like it's I'm a very humble girl, and I feel like being kind is like it's a like you have to. And when you're like I'm very kind as a person, but like you don't try me like and
Mm.
don't underestimate me because if
Oh
you
yeah.
do, I'm just gonna come out like I use that shit as motivation. Like, so and it's people think because you're a girl that maybe things like there's probably a bunch of dudes in the background making sure that shit is working as it should, but honestly no, like even like 2019, that was like my most hectic year. I did it without a manager, no label, like I was
Wow.
independent for 6 years. So I'm definitely invested not just in the music that's getting released, but I work with every bit of what I do. I'm controlling that and
Mm.
driving the boat really and truly, like everything from administration to PR to the release of music, even like to making your own merch and like like putting up a whole tour and doing the stage
Wow. So you do it
direction,
all.
everything.
Wow.
And like I've worked hard for this. I know I deserve it because yeah, I put in my 20, 30,000 hours all the time, and this is what I do, like
That's what it
so
takes. That's what it takes. Like
that's
more than 10,000 hours to achieve what you want to achieve,
more
and
than a
and
lot
more
more than
than that, and you've achieved everything twofold, like a couple of times over, and you're still like you're still at the I wouldn't say beginnings, like you're kind of like in the midst of everything now, but you're kind of like still
yeah,
kind of jumping in really. So, I mean,
exactly.
you're only just getting started, babe. You know.
That's what I feel like. Like I feel like I have so much more ahead of me that I wanna do.
Mm,
I've just recently started even like I haven't been really like released it yet, but I've definitely started working in some other stuff as well,
mm.
like fashion and makeup
Yeah, we're
and
gonna talk
beauty.
about that in a minute.
Yeah, yeah. So like just like I'm becoming the entrepreneur that I've been wanting to be like these past couple of years, and just like being able to create opportunities for the girls that work in my team as well. These are all like black women that are entrepreneurs, just like creative directors, stylists, all the girls in my team, they're all successful black women as well. So I'm in the midst of good energy, and I have a good support system. So this is what
That is so beautiful. You just said that because that led me into my next point because I don't know how we managed to synchronize. It's so beautiful because literally, like, having females on your team, like, like your hairstylist, Luan, long
yeah,
term friend, Melina, who's a makeup
yeah,
artist, I mean, with females in general, like, I feel like you guys are celebrating much, much more compared to in the past where it felt like it was male dominated and it still feel is to this point, but you guys are really breaking through, whether it's in music, entertainment, the job market. I mean, I'm a fan of WWE and I even love women's wrestling that's happening right now. It's so
yeah. I've
great.
seen
Yeah,
that.
so I mean, but I feel that females can be celebrated even more to the point that it's no longer just like a male or female thing; it's a human thing. So, what do you think?
Exactly.
What do you think needs to happen for you guys to really reach that level?
I feel like, what I'm realizing, what I'm seeing now is that there's a lot more female unity, right?
Mm,
Whereas, like I've just realized these past couple of years, like I had always like my girls working with me, and us creating job opportunities for each other, just like because during 2020, of course, I wasn't touring as much, so I was doing a lot more, like adverts, like TV adverts, and like a makeup ambassadorship and all this stuff. And what I'm doing is taking in my girls as creative directors working with me so we can all eat and we can all just elevate and us ourselves together. But what I feel like needs to happen is we need that support from our male counterparts as well.
mm,
Like when I feel like we celebrate each other a lot more and there's unity there, but it would be nice to have that support from our brothers and our friends and the men that are in these high places and that can control some of these stuff. If they really had a genuine way of supporting us, I feel like then it wouldn't be as stigmatized anymore and
mm,
it would be human, right?
mm,
So and this is like in every aspect when it
mm,
comes to talking about female rights even. I feel
mm,
like more males need to have those conversations amongst each other
mm,
for us because it's not gonna be I don't feel like anything's really gonna change if not everyone's in tune with each other, and that
mm.
can only happen when the men that we look up to and that we look for support are really there for us
So it's a
genuinely.
lot of conversations and a lot of understanding that needs to be made in general for that full balance and understanding, man. And I mean,
Exactly.
speaking of like someone that you look up to. I mean, you posted an image. I think it was last year, the year before, of Nipsey Hussle
Yeah.
when he passed. And I know that from seeing your post that he meant a big deal to you. I mean, so how did Nipsey's career like impact on you?
Well, first of all, he's an amazing artist, right? And also it was the fact that like he's East African, he's Eritrean, right?
Mm,
And like there's a big Eritrean community here in Sweden, and I'm Somali, but like East Africa is like Ethiopia, Somalia, Eritrea, we're like kind of close, and just seeing someone that's East African being so successful was such like just a mind-blowing thing to me because we don't have a lot of like in especially when he was becoming like bigger, we didn't have that many like East Africans
like
entertainers
representation, yeah.
presentation. Yeah, but also him talking about a lot of the interviews, like he was talking a lot about ownership and owning your masters and knowing about the business side of things. And like I've gone through stuff where I've always been independent, but
Hmm.
maybe like when you don't have a real knowledge about the contracts you're signing, even if it's with managers or just like one-off job opportunities, just knowing your worth. And like I learned a lot from just looking when watching his interviews, and just like now being and like when because he knew about me, and then we ended up having a conversation, a really like nice conversation on Instagram.
Wow.
Yeah, and like he told me he was a big fan. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that you know who I
Wow.
am. And he was very kind, complimented me for my music, and we had these conversations about ownership and everything before he passed, and that meant a great deal to me. Just so now, like years after, knowing that like all the albums I've released, like I own that. I know about my royalties. I know about like I know how to work the administrative side of everything. And even though I have a good team and a good manager and everything now, I still like, I have to make sure that whatever happens, I'm good.
Mm.
And like I know how to go forward with everything and just, be knowledgeable about everything, every part of my career. Cause,
Wow.
it's
So
at the end of the day,
he really put an impact on you, like literally, like even having conversations before he passed. Like, was there ever
that's
conversations of even you guys working together in the future, or was it just like a
no.
more conversation sort of based thing?
So the crazy thing is, well, it started as by like I saw that he was following me on Instagram, and I was shocked. And then and we had like a real nice conversation about him being a fan of my music, and I was like, oh my god, that is crazy. And then we never spoke about making music, but the crazy thing was when I that's when I was working on my mixtape OG,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a song, the last song on there is called West Side, because I'm from the west side of Stockholm, right? So, and it's in English, and I was actually like just building up the guts to ask him if he would want to feature on it. And imagine like I'm in the midst of making this mixtape. I make the song like a demo of it, and I'm thinking like, okay, soon I'm gonna just like DM him and be like, yo, I made this song. It's gonna be on this project I'm releasing. I'll be happy if you. And like a week later, I just seen that he passed away. So I was like, yo, that's
Oh,
crazy. And I even wrote that song just thinking like, oh, this would be so
so
amazing if
sick
Nick
for him to jump on. Oh my goodness. Wow.
from West Side, like from LA with the West Coast, and
Yeah.
I'm from the West Side of Stockholm. And like I sing a lot about being from the West Side of Stockholm. So
Wow.
it would have just made sense, but
I
crazy.
mean, imagine the prospects if it were, man. I
Crazy.
mean, God bless Nipsey, man. Like, rest in peace to him, man. Like, he gave you a lot of wisdom on that one. I mean, speaking of reaching big levels, that brings me on to your album, your upcoming album, which you got, Naag Nool. Have I said it correctly?
Mhm. Yeah.
We'll do that, and we'll do some bits like that in a second. But it means like independent woman and boss lady, which from this interview and even from the last time we saw you, that definitely describes you. And if
Thank you.
anything with Maria and 123 is to go by, I mean that statement is true anyway. So talk to us about the process in making the album and wanting to release it. So talk to us about the album.
So basically, and you're right about the name, first of all. Well, if you translate it like word for word, it means a woman that lives. But it does like the whole meaning of it is very much deeper. It's like you say that to a woman that's independent or in control of her freedom, or a woman that's a boss and just she's in control of her destiny,
Mm.
right? And I really feel like these like past couple of like especially during this pandemic and now even I'm just realizing that I'm really becoming that the woman that I wanted to be, like more than I could ever dream of, but just like achieving some of these stuff, and not just me, just realizing like when I think about the people that inspire me and that um that motivates me, it's honestly the women in my life, like my best friends, my mother, my cousins, my sister. Like some of them are becoming mothers now, some of them are entrepreneurs, or just like going to school for becoming like a nurse, or someone that works with marine biology. Like these are just women that come from a lot of broken homes, because most of us didn't grow up with dads either. So I've never had like a male role
Yep.
model,
Yep.
you know?
Myself as well included.
Exactly. So just like when I think about like strong people, these are the people that I think about. So in a way, this album is a dedication for them as well. Like there's a
Mm.
song on there called Los Interlude, and it's like a celebration of my best friend, who's a single mother and just like one of the strongest people I know. There's a song on there for my mother, and even like songs where I'm talking about knowing your worth as a woman, knowing like that sometimes you're allowed to just appreciate yourself and give yourself that time of day where you're just like, you know what, I'm just gonna pause on everything else, and today is gonna be like self-care Sunday, like it's my day.
Mm. Mm.
And I have those bangers on there as well, like that are more party friendly or just like hype friendly, but even them, there's always like a boss lady, a feminine energy that's very strong in a lot of the songs. So that's why then that's the name of the album as well.
Wow, I mean, you almost want. I almost shed a tear. Like it's rare for me to do this, but I almost shed a tear in how beautiful this all sounds and everything that you represent. Like, oh my gosh, wow! Like you really touched me in the feels today. Like honestly, I mean, what? I mean, what's coming up next for you anyway? Because I mean, you've been doing all sorts of stuff over the past couple of years.
Yeah.
like attending fashion shoots. I mean, you've been slaying. You've been modeling, like doing modeling shoots, and you've been slaying. I'm thinking, yo, like a mad thing as well. I mean, also, like just to briefly touch on that, you're also now a brand ambassador of a makeup brand called Isadora. I mean, congratulations on that. You know, I mean, what are we looking forward to from you next? Because obviously the album is coming, and hopefully when the world opens back up, like touring is going to be something you're
Ready to
looking
go
forward to.
back.
So
Exactly.
what's happening for you next? What's in the horizon for you?
So definitely this album. I'm releasing this album on the 4th of June. And I know maybe I don't know if this is so basically after that I'm gonna go on this huge Swedish TV show, whereas you like a lot of the legendary artists that we've had throughout the years, new and old, they're gonna be like in a house together and make
Ooh.
like versions of each other's songs, and that's like the biggest TV show in Sweden. So I'm gonna be a part of that this summer, and then hopefully, like I don't know if the world is gonna open back up, but I really, really, really need to do the UK tour that I've been
Oh,
wanting.
we've been wanting it
Like
so badly. I mean, unfortunately, the pandemic has just caused like a halt, but we
exactly,
really want it. Because I remember, I think I had this conversation last time when we finished the interview
yeah,
when we spoke to you last. That
yeah,
I think it was when you're on stage and having I think it was I said to you something about you know doing like a mixture of Swedish and English as far
mm,
as like you know you performing on stage and stuff and being it from the UK is like doing a UK tour to
yeah.
merge all that together and have some fun with the audience and just play
I
around with the
would love
crowd.
to.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, I would love to. Like, I'm just waiting to. That's why I didn't want to release the English project now because I'm
Right.
like, I want to go out and do the signings. I want to do the shows. I want to see them. I need to feel their energy. So that's why, like, hopefully, when everything just goes back to normal, I can go and do that. And by that time, hopefully, have my English project ready. And definitely, like, I have some huge stuff lined up when it comes to like fashion and beauty, like with the Isadora ambassadorship. We're gonna release some stuff soon. Some stuff like some of these things that I'm doing outside of music are stuff that I've been like dreaming about doing for 5, 6 years. So it's come becoming like a reality now. And the best thing about it is that I've these are stuff that I've done or worked on with my best friends, like the
Mm.
girls that I grew up with. Like so it's just an amazing feeling. And I have all these stuff lined up, but hopefully the next time we talk, we're gonna talk about my English project.
Yes, that's definitely gonna happen. I mean, you being a boss lady, I have no doubt that will happen in the future, man. Well, Cherrie, it's been an absolute pleasure. Like, it's so good to have you back on the channel. Hopefully, we can do this again next time, face to face. I know you got more famous shit to do, and I've been told that we got to wrap up. But if you can tell the audience where they can catch you on all the socials and what's coming up for you, the floor is yours, sweetheart.
4th of June, my third album, Naag Nool. I'm on Instagram, Twitter. Just search Cherrie. You'll definitely find me. Thank you for this interview. I always have so much fun with you guys, and hopefully, I can talk to you very soon.
Well, I mean, get your ass in London soon. Hopefully, this all list up, and the next time we do this, I'm gonna keep in touch with your PR and representation. We want to do this again when you come back to London, please.
Yeah,
And hopefully, when things go further, that you have that full English album and song that we're hoping for as well, and you get to
definitely.
tour as well.
I'm so excited about that.
All right.
Thank you.
Well, I'll let you go anyway because I know you got more famous shit to do. So, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me, and hope to see you again soon, babe.
You too. Bye.
God
Have a
bless.
nice